Good evening and welcome to Anne's Joke Hour. You're gonna love this one. Here we go. Once upon a time, there lived a man who had a terrible passion for baked beans. He loved them, but they always had an embarrassing and somewhat lively effect on him. One day he met a girl and fell in love. And when it became apparent they would marry, he thought to himself, God, she'll never go through with a marriage with me carrying on like this. So he made the supreme sacrifice and gave up beans. And shortly after that they were married. A few months later, on the way home from work, his car broke down, and since they lived in the country, he called his wife and told her that he would be late because he had to walk. On his way home he passed a small cafe, and the wonderful aroma of baked beans overwhelmed him. Since he still had several miles to walk, he figured he could walk off any ill effects before he got home. So he went in and ordered, and before leaving had 3 extra large helpings of baked beans. All the way home he putted. By the time he arrived home he felt reasonably safe. His wife met him at the door and seemed somewhat excited. She exclaimed, "Darling, I have the most wonderful surprise for you for dinner tonight." She put a blindfold on him and led him to his chair at the head of the table and made him promise not to peek. At this point he was beginning to feel another one coming on, and just as his wife was about to remove the blindfold, the telephone rang. She again made him promise not to peek until she returned, and away she went to answer the phone. While she was gone, he seized the opportunity. He shifted his leg and let go. It was not only loud, but also ripe as a rotten egg. He had a hard time breathing, so he felt for his napkin and fanned the air about him. He had just started to feel better when another urge came on. He raised his leg and... It sounded like a diesel engine revving and smelled worse. Hang on, I'll get a diesel engine. No, that's not quite diesel. That's better. To keep from gagging, he tried fanning his arms a while, hoping the smell would dissipate. He got another urge. This was a real blue ribbon winner. The window shook, the dishes on the table rattled, and a minute later the flowers on the table were dead. While keeping an ear tuned in on the conversation in the hallway and keeping his promise of staying blindfolded, he carried on like this for the next 10 minutes, farting and fanning away with his napkin. When he heard the phone farewells, he neatly laid his napkin on his lap and folded his hands on top of it. Smiling contentedly, he was the picture of innocence. When his wife walked in, apologising for taking so long, she asked if he had peeked at the dinner table, and after assuring her he had not peeked, she removed the blindfold and yelled, "Surprise!" To his shock and horror, there were 12 dinner guests sitting around the table for his surprise birthday party. Good night. Good night all.